In November, I'm sure people remember, Fine Gael promised the moon, earth and stars for students. They were saying they were going to make it totally free, like in Scandinavia, like in Finland, for college. So any Irish person, again, emphasise Irish people should obviously go to college for free, but anybody else should have to pay for it. But it doesn't make sense, and I want this to be answered by somebody to the Department of Education. It doesn't make sense why there's hundreds of thousands of Indians coming here to study. How are they able to pay for it? Like, they're definitely getting big European grants and the government's paying for it. They're not paying a penny. It doesn't make logic. It doesn't make any sense how they're able to come over here and pay. But Irish people can't afford it. I know many students my age who are just barely scraping by to get to college, to get to the degree, and then off on the boat they go to another country. It doesn't make much sense, but anyway, you're not allowed to ask them questions, unfortunately. But it's the truth, because why is there so many people from the third world coming here? And us Irish students, I'm not going to college, but Irish people can't afford to go to college because it's too expensive, and they can't afford to get a student accommodation, they can't afford to get anything. So it doesn't make any logic. But yeah, so you have to pay €1,000 extra this year, even though Fine Gael promised the moon, earth and the stars to the students. And again, I tell any young students who vote for Fine Gael who are taking in my silver trinkets, you were a fool, because the government, either be Sinn Féin, Labour Party, Social Democrats, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, they don't give a shit. Simple as that. They don't give a shit. We see them, and the argument here from the government is they don't have the money to pay it because of the tariffs or whatever the excuse is, but they never intended to do it in the first place. But we see all the money they're spending on direct provision for people that we don't even know to come into the state and get free medical cards, free bus passes, free everything. It doesn't make any sense. There's billions being spent on that. Don't even mention about accommodation. There's people becoming multi-trillionaires because the state is paying for people that we don't even know to be housed in places, and paying big money for people to the high-ups. It doesn't make any sense, but if we cut that money, we can give it to the Irish students. But there's no suggestion of that. Imagine that. You think they would say, yeah, we're going to do that. That would make the Irish people happy, but no, they don't care. Simple as that. They just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They know a lot of Irish people, 18 and so, they have no hope in Ireland. They have no future. They know rightly that the only hope they have is leaving. And that's the sad thing to say. And then everybody else comes in. It doesn't make any sense, but logic doesn't exist in the modern Republic of Ireland. But yeah, this is very shameful, because again, I wouldn't mind if they didn't promise everything, but they literally promised the moon, earth and stars. But yeah, it is shameful. And you would wonder why people go off to other countries to study and stuff, because you have delusional idiots like this fellow in power that promise you trinkets, promise you the moon, earth and stars. Then when it comes to doing the bit, they won't do it. But again, if there was an election tomorrow, they'd be fucking promising everything, probably do everything. But yeah, let me know what you think. As I say, it isn't easy for students. I'm not a student, but I know so many people my age that are students. They're going to college, they're doing their best, and they have student accommodation pay, they have different things to pay, and maybe they're only working a part-time job and then having to study at the same time. It isn't easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It isn't easy, and it shouldn't be such a difficult thing. Particularly because, again, so many of their parents, and themselves too, are paying big, huge amount in tax. Like, take for example myself, I don't go to college, but I pay a huge amount in tax, and that goes off to fucking God only knows where, because I don't know where it goes to, but it goes into the black hole. But yeah, that should go towards looking after some Irish young people and giving them a future, giving them an opportunity, giving them to become something. But no, that doesn't. It goes to fucking God only knows, but bicycle sheds and stuff, pretty much. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe for more, and bye.